Hey guys, Mr.G here. We're going to continue again today with the corner store that I was talking about, the Stop and Go at Thousand Oaks and Henderson Pass that I went to growing up in San Antonio, Texas. So me and my twin brother, we went to Thousand Oaks Elementary School for 2nd grade, 3rd grade, 4th grade, and 5th grade, and we would walk home. And there was 2 gas stations right there next to this school on our walk home. There was a Stop and Go on one side of the street and a Lone Star on the other side of the street. I noticed I look a lot different in my glasses today. I mentioned the last story times about the Altered Beast video game machine at the Stop and Go. So me and my brother, we would get off of school, and even though we didn't have quarters to play the video games like other kids did, we would watch them play, and sometimes a nice kid would lend us a quarter to play the game too. So it was a really big thing for us. And one day, for whatever reason, I talked back to one of the clerks or something. She was like a crackhead clerk. And she said, "You can't come in here anymore." And I'm like, Altered Beast video games after school was all I had, right? And so she said we couldn't come in. She said I couldn't come in there anymore. But I came back the next day and I put on a baseball cap. It was a Fitzgerald Casino baseball cap. Baseball caps were rare for me and my brother growing up because we weren't allowed to have caps at school, so there was no reason for us to have them. But that was the only cap I had. And then I took off my nerdy glasses and I wore the baseball cap. And then when she saw me the next day, she's like, "Didn't I kick you out yesterday?" And I'm like, "No, I've never been here. I'm from New York," or something like that. I said I was from out of town. I was a new student. And she believed me, and I got to play the video game. So that was the big hangout spot, that Stop and Go. Growing up, I remember the Halloween in 1994. I was working for the newspaper, but I took Halloween off. And while I was working with the newspaper, I acquired a small bag of marijuana, and I had never even used marijuana before at that point on Halloween in 1994. But I remember meeting Nathan Guidoni at the Stop and Go and showing him the marijuana. Like, I brought it with me on Halloween for some reason, even we weren't planning on smoking it. But I showed it to him, like, "Look, drugs," And it was, silly, to even have it on me. But also I remember the Lone Star across the street when I actually did smoke weed for the first time, which was like on the very end of 9th grade, like the last day of school. We were going to get some cigarettes for my friends. We didn't smoke, but we wanted to get some to sell to our friends or to sell for weed, right? And so we went to the Lone Star right there, but across the street from the Stop and Go, because they had all their cigarettes just sitting out, like just out there where you could just grab them. And I convinced Nathan Guidoni, I was kind of like the leader. I was like, "Hey, let's go and just grab these cigarettes and just run off." And then he's like, "Are you sure?" And I convinced him to do it. I was able to convince him to do stuff. He looked up to me. So we went into the Lone Star, act like we were like buying something, and went up to the cigarettes and just grabbed as many as we could and just took off running down Henderson Pass. We ran all the way home, past Miss Lambert's house, past the ditch, past the post office. And then you know what happened? Robert Corn, some asshole, was walking down, and he got busted for it.